tossed it.
Can I ask where you were watching the game?
Yeah, I was in the training room. A couple guys were in there, Hogan, and Kenny were both judged. So obviously a great win after last night. 11 games, you know. Probably could be more proud of that group in that room right now.
Just about that rally that they showed there with Sutter Davidson drawing up walk and Butler and also Willie MacIver hitting his first major league hit.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, part of the talk that we had at spring training was going to take the whole Army that was in the room. And, you know, these guys coming here, you know, we talked about last night, right? The energy or just the change. And for them to contribute to the win today is huge. You know, they've obviously done a great job to earn the promotion. For Logan and for MacIver, I mean, you can't draw it up any better for that kid today in the game. We've thrown out one of the fastest guys in baseball.
I'm assuming you talked to the team. What is kind of the message after finally ending this thing and coming in a day off tomorrow and take a look to catch your breath a little bit?
I was actually celebrating with them because, as we said, right, every win you've got to celebrate, and there was a lot of joy in that room. There was, you know, a lot of brotherhood that, you know, it shows the group and the culture. You know, they brought me in there and they allowed me to be a part of it, right? So that's special for me, and you know, again. There's real no message. It was just continue to focus on, you know, a new day, turning the page, and being prepared to go out and to, you know, play your best baseball, and that's what they did today.
Last night, Davidson made his MLB debut. Had a little bit of a rough go, but I don't know what he's there, but we got him in there at first base to start the game. Was it important to get that initial taste out of his mouth and get him in the lineup, or was that more of the first thing against options?
Yeah, no, I mean, Logan's earned that opportunity to be in the lineup, and with Kurtz, you know, having a hip flexor strain, you know, there was an opportunity to get Logan in there. We felt good about the right-handed bat against Luzardo. Obviously, you saw the success that Luzardo could have against left-handed hitters. We have a pretty good left-handed hitter that's had success in the 3-hole against lefties this year, and he wasn't picking up the spin today. So for Logan, you know, there's a lot of confidence that I have in this kid. I mean, I've invested a lot of time. We've had a lot of conversations through the last 2 seasons about what it was going to take for him to be a big leaguer. And he has not backed down from anything that I've given him. And to see the reward come today and just his first start and contributing and having such an impact to the win was awesome.
I'm going to also talk about the ejections of both you and Luca.
Sure.
Back-to-back, what was said or something like that, and what do you think about those calls?
Well, I got to remind everybody, and myself at times, that umpiring and calling balls and strikes is a really hard job. It is. You know, end of the previous at bat, came back, felt like the first backdoor sweeper was a ball off the plate. We talked about it, and I, you know, just reminded him, like, hey, you've got to let me know, communicate with me, and I'll make sure that I make, you know, Roberto aware of that, you know, the pitch is outside. So again, big at bat, big part of the game. He was ready to hit from pitch 1. We talked about him sitting on that pitch. He felt it was outside and away off the plate, which, you know, from the angle of the sweeper that's coming in, it's got to do a pretty good right turn. I was obviously frustrated with the first call. I expressed that, but I was more frustrated in the reaction that I got back from the umpire, and that's what we kind of talked about. And I made sure that he was aware that I was frustrated with how he treated me. I know he's frustrated with my, you know, disagreement in the balls and strikes, which he's perfectly allowed to be. But I think we agree to disagree in that situation. And for Andujar, he felt the next pitch was in the same location, maybe even a little higher, called for another strike, and then he chased the fastball up. So there's a lot of frustration in there, and I think that that came out, and it's okay. It's okay to release those frustrations sometimes.
Yeah, the other day, I asked you a question, and then you said that you always take these decisions, talking with David, who should come up, who should go down. So it has to be very satisfactory for you that precisely 3 of the 4 guys that you guys called up 72 hours ago are deciding this game because you have to come with 7 people that really catch you.
Yeah, I think obviously there's a lot of confidence in these guys and bringing them here. It's never easy when you make roster changes. You obviously impact lives, and yet we're trying to do everything we can to improve our club and give ourselves the best chance to win. And for these guys to contribute to the win, it does feel rewarding. We've got a lot in front of us though. And again, I talk all the time about we're aware of our deficiencies. We're also aware of what we do well. Again, we took probably one of the better lefties in the game, 3-3 through 7, and ended up winning today. Friday night we took one of the best righties in the game, 1-0 into the 9th. So it's not a lack that this team can't win games. I mean, we went through a stretch for sure, and today showed that even through that tough stretch, that they still believe they have the confidence that they can win games. And our offense, I got the pleasure of listening to Ken Korak kind of talk about our offense in a lot of detail, and the categories that we sit in offensively are pretty impressive in the American League. 5th in home runs, and 5th in runs scored. There's a lot of things that are positive about our offense that you would think that the record would be different. So obviously we're deficient, and we're trying to improve in the areas that we know are impacting those wins and losses, and that's our defense and our pitching right now. And those are 2 things that we've identified that we're going to continue to try to make improvements with.
How was Nick Kurtz doing? Is he going to the IL?
Not yet. We're going to give Nick another day, another 24 hours before we make any decisions going forward.
Coach Cox, you just mentioned about frustration. Sometimes it takes a little volcano erupt, to get your team going. Trey hit that home run after your ejection. Your team felt like they were still, in the ball game. What do you say about trying to fire up your team, to get them together after that type of ejection?
I mean, obviously, listen, no one in that room was happy about losing 11 straight games, and there's obviously emotion that's pent up, and at some time, like you said, the volcano erupts, right? And nothing was preconceived. There's no thought process. It was just reactionary to the moment in the game. It was a big moment in the game. I think I've grown up a little bit as a manager over the last 3 years, calmed down in certain ways, and been able to be a better communicator. And today I wasn't maybe the best of communicators to be umpire. But you're right. I mean, there is something about emotion, and there's something about showing that to a group that you care about, you love, and I think they know that.
And also, as you just mentioned about the defense, the outfielders, they're contesting everything that's come out there. They're putting gloves on everything and not letting any balls drop in front of them. You talk about, with Soderstrom and Butler and Clark yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, the defense out in the outfield, that's an area where we're continuing to try to improve. I think you saw Denzel. I mean, we can look at Denzel's day offensively and say, wow, he didn't contribute to the game, but then you look out and the catches that he made today can be, runs saved, and that's just as equally as important as getting big hits.
You and we talked about sparks and players that sparked the lineup last night. I felt that there was 2 in the game. Defensively, on the defensive side, Hogan Harris with the 2 2/3 innings that he pitched, and then in the bottom of the 8th, once again, 2nd day in a row, Lawrence Butler sparked the team, got the triple, tied the game up.
Yeah, no, well said. I mean, you could come up here and let everybody know, because you just described the game really. Without the performance from Hogan Harris, and guys, our bullpen's been through a lot. They've been taxed, and Hogan took the ball and went, like you said, 2 2/3. We needed that. That was a huge performance. It gives us an opportunity to rest a couple guys and have them available Tuesday going into Houston, which is key. And like you said, Lawrence Luzardo is a tough lefty. He had a bat off of Strong the other day. Similar result, and that was huge. It was huge to score that run and get that momentum going.
What's the feeling like early in the game when you're going through a long losing streak and you get a leadoff homer from Jake, as opposed to the Phillies scoring in the top of the first like they did in the last 2 years?
It's always great to have the lead. It's great to play with the lead. I think we've had the lead, and I can't accurately say this, but I think we've had the lead more than a few times in this losing streak that's behind us, which is great. But you know, the momentum of the game shifts, right? And you get a lefty out there that's got less than a 2 ERA, and you put 3 spot up on him. It definitely helps him. It definitely builds confidence. And to go out and get a 0 from Hogue, and you know, continue just to move forward, it obviously gets you off to a good start.
I'm only asking because you guys won, but what was the walk down the left field line like after getting ejected, as opposed to maybe just walking back in the clubhouse?
Yeah, it's long. It's long, definitely.
I clocked you in 48 seconds.
There was a moment where I thought, should I jog? And then I thought, actually, no, I think Luzardo could use a little break.
Thanks, guys.